Hey guys, welcome to the call. We're gonna get started. It's 8:31. We do this call every Monday. No, it's Tuesday nights now. It has been for like a year or two. Sorry, every Tuesday night at 8:30 Central. Super excited that we got Danielle on the call this evening with us. And real quick, I just want to remind you that if you haven't ordered your salted, oh my gosh, salted caramel. I ordered 3. I got distracted. If you haven't ordered that, then you need to get some. It's already sold out in Canada. Hopefully, if you live in Canada, you already got it. But it sold out like within like a couple of hours in Canada. So make sure you get some. And there's some other stuff that we'll be talking about in the Team Panacea page. But I want to respect everybody's time here. And Danielle, I'll let you kind of just introduce yourself and tell your story. And thank you so much for spending some time with us. I appreciate it very much.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here. It is 9:30 for me, and I feel like the older I get, the later everything feels. But I'm sure I always catch my second wind. We do our team calls late too because we have some coaches from Alaska. So usually I'm like, oh, I'm so tired, and then by the end of the call, I'm like jumping all over the place. Are any of you familiar with the Enneagram? It's one of those personality things, and I am a 7 on the Enneagram scale. So you'll understand that a little bit better after this call if I do get a little riled up. My motto is, if it's not fun, I'm done. So that's how I have run my entire Beachbody business. And that is why I made some shifts in the past few years to make it fun again, because I was getting bogged down with so many things that I know many of us find in this business. I have been a coach, I think it's 8 years. I don't know. I have like a really bad, like, timelines to me mean nothing. I can't keep, it's all like, what do they say about, my husband has this, like, everything spaced out perfectly and he can remember a date, and I'm like, noodles all around. It all kind of flows together. That's how coaching is for me too. But I've been doing it a while. I'm a 5-star in my first business center. My second business center just went 1-star. That took forever, but that's okay because I now am finding the fun again, and my team is, there's a new joy and a new life on our team, and we have people coming in excited right from the start. And part of that was a shift that we just all together made as a team. So I actually, I don't know, what else do you want to know about me?
Well, I tell you, one of the things that I thought was really cool is that you said that you were able to retire your husband and now he's working on a book. Is that right?
Yeah,
That's
so my
pretty cool.
husband, well, it's kind of crazy how it happened last year because we had the school he was teaching at, they were going a direction that we did not support, and I actually didn't want my kids to be a part of. And so he ended up quitting. And we kind of were like, ooh, what are we going to do? And because we were just like right on the cusp of being able to cover everything. And it was amazing how my team, like, rallied around our family. And I mean, it was amazing to see. And we were able for him to, now he teaches part-time because he loves it, and extra income is always good. But he's able to be a part of the kids' new school, and he's doing what he loves now rather than doing a job he hated before in the school. He's now the fine arts director, which is what he absolutely loves. And he has just finished his first novel. And it really is because of this business. It's so amazing. And it's pretty cool. I don't know. I have 3 kids. They're getting bigger. It's weird. So I wanted to just share a little bit about Instagram. How many of you are on Instagram? Just wave at me. Okay. How many of you feel like Instagram, you're good at it, you like it, it's easy peasy, lemon squeezy? Okay, maybe not. Yeah. So about 2 years ago, I don't know about you, but I built my business on Facebook. Like, doing all the things, you post 3 times a day and you're super consistent and you're doing those messages and my messenger thread in Facebook was my life. That's how I built my business. I was constantly, how many connects can I make a day? And something shifted in Facebook and it just wasn't fun anymore. And like I said, if it's not fun, I'm done. It was getting too political. People were getting way just done with all of the groups and being added to this MLM and the spammy messages that you probably still get. I don't know how many Usborne book parties I have been invited to in the last week, but I don't need any more books as much as I love them. So I think that the temperature just shifted and I needed to do something different. So I am just one of those people, I'm like, okay, fine. I'll just try Instagram. And what I realized was it was fun again. The communities there were just a little bit different. I could post about Beachbody and people didn't care. It was like they didn't mind. They didn't care if I was selling to them even. And it was just weird. When I started, I had about 3,000 followers on Instagram. And I just kind of dug into it. I tried to learn it. I tried to be social with it. So the beautiful thing about social networking is you are rewarded for being social on it. Instagram likes it when you're using it in a social way. Oh, is it technical difficulties for me or am I doing okay? Oh no, I'm sorry, Sandy. So I dug into Instagram and I threw myself into just trying to figure it out, the ins and outs. And what I realized was on Instagram, I was looking at it just like Facebook, but it's a little bit different because on Instagram, you can kind of delve into these niche communities and there's a whole different world you can connect with. So I realized, I don't know if you've noticed, I have very curly hair. And I had found a little bit on Facebook that people were interested in that. Those posts did well. I was sharing about the things I was learning about my hair. And over on Instagram, I realized there was a whole world called the curly girl community. And as I started to learn from these women, and none of them are coaches, all of them are doing this for fun because they loved curly hair. They loved sharing about it. They loved meeting other people. They loved connecting. If you learned something from this person, you would tag them and share it in your stories. And I just started to learn more about Instagram in general. And from there, I've been able to grow my page from 3,000 to I just hit 33,000 today. And all of that was just through connecting and having fun again. So I wanted to share just a few tips and even take some questions about Instagram because I absolutely love it. I think that it's a great place to find your niche community. A lot of times what we do is we end up looking at just fitness on Instagram. And if you delve into the fitness world on Instagram, you are going to get drowned out and lost, because there are so many big time fitness influencers that you are going to be just this little tiny fish in a pond. But if you can connect with other communities that are the other things, I know that, find your niche. Who are your people? So often I remember like forever people telling me, all right, what are the things outside of Beachbody that you love? And I'm like, I love Beachbody. I bleed Beachbody blue. That's what I do. I work out. And honestly, like it took me a little bit. And I talked to someone, I would just ask people who I could tell their Instagram was going well. And I would try to learn from them. And she said, what are 3 things that you can put right now? Just give me 3 things. And I said, curly hair, fitness, and I'm a mom. And she goes, okay, curly fit mom. And I was like, what? And she helped me work on my bio and just kind of hone into those 3 things. And I dove into the curly girl world and it was amazing to see the difference. So you might be saying, okay, Danielle, I don't have curly hair. What am I supposed to do? You need to think about the things that you love. If you were to just go on Instagram today, not for business, okay? Let's put Beachbody aside. Let's put, connecting and what are you supposed to do? Follow, unfollow, all those things. Put those aside. If you were to go to Instagram right now, just for fun, you're chilling in the evening, you're scrolling through, you're watching stories, you're, tapping away on the hearts, what would you be interested in? What are some of the accounts you would enjoy following because you like the content, you enjoy the content, you're learning from the content, you just, maybe it's something like do it yourself. Those people, they've got their doing their homes all up beautiful, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't do that. There's so many niche markets, and if you can niche it down a little bit and start seeing those accounts, because they'll start tagging each other, and you can find other accounts that way and start connecting and learning about other things and sharing what you're learning and shouting them out, and eventually they're shouting you out. And honestly, I connect, there's like a fly all around me. There was one girl, and we're still friends. She has not bought anything from me. She keeps saying, well, she ended up getting pregnant, but she's like, oh yeah, I'm going to do the workouts with you eventually, which is totally fine. But she's helped me on so many levels just with Instagram. So I created this hashtag with her help. And it's like, when I told her, I'm like, this is the stupidest thing ever though. People aren't gonna, she goes, no, Danielle, if you put this hashtag out there and you show how you style your hair, I swear to you, it's gonna go crazy. And honestly, that is what happened. So if you can just make those connections, isn't that what this business is about? It's about connections and just working with other people outside of Beachbody. I try and tell my coaches all the time, it is so great for you to learn and follow other coaches, but you have to expand your world beyond that so that you can therefore find people who aren't coaches or already following a million coaches. So I was going to just share my screen real quick. And I want to show you, because 2 years ago, I made a shift on my page, and it was a really big deal for me. If you were to see my Facebook page, I still do Facebook completely different than Instagram. I do it kind of, the typical way that you would share about, I shared about my workout with my son this morning. I share about lifestyle. I share tips and things like that. Things that I'm sure that your coach, that Chris has taught you to do when you're posting or you've learned about from other coaches. But on Instagram, I do things differently. And here's why. Let me see if I can share my screen. Oh, can you enable it? It says host disabled. I'm not very good at this type of thing. Technology is not my jam.
I'm not technically savvy either, but I can do this. Give me a sec.
Every time we have a Zoom call, my coaches are like, oh dear, because something goes wrong. And I'm just like, I don't know.
All right, you're the co-host. You should be able to do it now.
All right, let me see if I can. Now what do I click on? Nope, that's not it. Safari? Yeah, let's see. All right, that fly is driving me crazy. Okay, so I'm going to click on my Instagram and bring that up. So if you look at my Instagram right from the beginning, Curly Fit Mom, virtually helping women navigate the curly girl method with joy, weight loss without shame, and life without laughter. The first thing I did in my bio was I want people to know when they come to my page, what do I offer them? Not about me, right? It's not just because, it's like mom, kids, all that stuff. No, when someone comes to your page, it's all about them. What can you offer them? Short, sweet, and to the point right there in your bio. And these are little tweaks that anybody can make. And I try and encourage my coaches to do the same thing. You want someone right off the bat to know what you're going to offer them and what they have for you. Because then a lot of times they'll go, if you have a link tree, that's a great place to put, Google Forms. I have all kinds of things there. So if you look, most of my posts are about hair, okay? There are no fitness posts. I mean, I have one right there, okay? You see that in the middle. I have that one there when I finished up 10 rounds. But most of these are about hair, like literally. And what's amazing about this, so here I'm able to show like before and afters. Those always do well. I've kind of figured out, but even in showing my hair posts, I try and show pictures of when I was a little bit heavier. So I'm still planting those seeds and still sharing my story, but literally what I'm doing is adding value so that I can form relationships with people, so that I can hook them in. And then when they watch my stories, that's where I get them. So I have figured out a balance of sharing, and I don't know if I can show you. No, I don't really know if it'll let me show you my stories from here. For some reason, it's different. And how do I stop sharing my screen? Oh, there we go. Oh, that way I can see everybody in. So what I do in my stories is what everybody should be doing. I just share my life. like just everything. I shared about, do you say caramel or caramel, and had people vote on that today. And then I shared a little bit about, oh, yay, my superfood shake comes in salted caramel. It's going to be awesome. And then I shared that I was doing a hair tutorial coming up. And then I shared, some funny pictures of my kids and videos of them doing nonsensical things. So I just share about my life in there. And I have people voting on things, and I've trained them how to vote on things. I've told them, hey, you need to vote on this. You have to teach people what to do. You really do in your stories. A lot of my coaches be like, I put up a voting poll and nobody voted. I'm like, ask them to vote. That happened to me the first time I did too. Tell people what to do, and do votes on other things. People love to give their opinion. And if you can start and see them giving their opinion about silly things, then when you're putting up votes about, hey, do you want to join my virtual gym? What do you think about coaching? Do you want to join my, coaching session? Don't be afraid to share about coaching in your stories. And I just sprinkle it all. And I can tell, this is the funny part, I can tell when I've talked too much about Beachbody or coaching, because my views will go down. So I just got to sprinkle in a little more hair stuff. But that's it, right? Offer value to people, figure out what they need and what they want. And then from there, they're going to realize that they need more than that. And that's what's happened. Almost every single one of the messages that come through my inbox are, I started following you because of my hair, and then I realized ... I needed to join your virtual gym, or I need to get healthier, or I need to, because these people aren't coming to, they didn't come to my page because of the fitness, but when they see that, everybody needs health and wellness, right? So you might think, well, I have coaches all the time. Well, I'm not really a fitness person. I'm like, well, I'm not either. I am now because of Beachbody, but I wasn't. So keep that in mind as you keep growing in your business. Don't lose sight of the other things that you love and the other ways that you can so easily connect with people, because that connection is so key to forming relationships to then be able to bring Beachbody into their lives. So that's really like all of the main things I wanted to share. I really wanted to make sure I could answer questions. And there's probably, this fly is literally driving me crazy. He's like the little tiny bug in my face. So yeah, does anybody have questions for me? Because I love digging in and just, helping, even just brainstorming some things. One of my coaches is a fire wife. Her husband's a firefighter. So she dove into that on Instagram. She started looking for other fire wives. And what I would suggest is, don't look at accounts where they have 50K or above. Because honestly, those people are not going to share your stuff in their stories. They're not going to connect with you as much. They don't have time. I wish my Instagram would slow down a little at this point. I know that sounds crazy because I honestly can't keep up with some of it. So look for people who have a little bit more than you, or even up to the 10K range, to follow them, interact in their comments. That's a great way to connect with people right there. Look at some of their content, be encouraged by it, and then share it, reshare it, tell what you're learning, tell why you loved it, shout them out, connect with people on a different level, and you will be so amazed. I have so many women who are curly hair influencers that have joined me this year coaching. I'm looking at my board over here of my ones that I'm, hoping bring our team to elite, my new coaches, and so many of them are curly influencers. And it's been amazing to see that little world infiltrated by Curly Fit Mom and Beachbody. So, any questions?
Yeah, I have a question. So you talked about teaching people how to vote in your polls and stuff like that. So what does that look like?
Well, I literally, the first time I put up a poll, I got nothing. And I realized honestly, I did another one. I was like, okay, guys, you need to vote in my stories. It is no fun if nobody votes. I just told people. And think about things that are fun and silly for people to vote on, or things that people really like to give their opinion. Because honestly, if you can start to get people used to voting in your stories, they're going to do it more. The more they're used to doing that with you, they will keep doing it. So you have to do it frequent enough, but not too frequently. And you can't always having them just vote on Beachbody stuff, because that's gonna it's gonna max them out too much. You have to give them enough fun so that they keep watching your story, so that when they're ready, because it's got to be when they're ready, right? Honestly, I'm going to say I was listening to a call this morning and she says she messages every person that watches her stories. I don't do that. Most of my people end up messaging me, or they voted on something and I message them then, because you vote on my stories and say, yes, you want more info, you're going to join my virtual gym. Pretty much. I'm not letting go of you. And I passionately pursue people. But yeah, so that's what I would say. You have to train people in that you have to do enough voting on things that don't matter in order for them to vote on things that do matter.
Right. I don't play on IG a lot, and I haven't done a poll in a long time either, or vote. But I mean, you know, when I'm teaching people, I'm like, look, you can even just be like, hey, you're at a roulette wheel, red or black, you know,
Yeah.
and like, and you know, that's kind of one of those mindless ones where it really just kind of, you know, puts you up in that algorithm too, as far as how much interaction that you get. But okay, so I'm sorry, did you have anything else, or you want to just?
Oh no, I thought there was a question. Let me check the chats.
Okay, I
How
have.
do you see who's watching your stories? Okay, so if you go, and I don't know if it matters if your page, my page is not personal, like it's not a private page anymore. I think you have to be a public page. And you can switch to a business page, easy peasy, which I think I highly recommend it, because then you have oh my goodness, the data that you have when you have a business page is everything, because you start to see when I go to one of my posts. Okay, so today's post that I put up there, I can click on insights. I can see who shared it, how many people shared it, how many people have saved it, how many people have commented. I can see the overall reach of the post. And that gives me, when you have hard facts like that, you can see right there, okay, this kind of post people liked, it served them well. Another thing about training people, and this is something I was blown away by, this another curly girl influencer, she goes, oh my gosh, Danielle, you won't believe this, I told people to save my post today and over 200 people saved it, when usually, you know, that there's like a little, you can do that little, it's like a little flag, like a little, looks like a, I don't know, little badge you got in school. um, she goes, usually only, you know, maybe 25 people will save it. She goes, over 200 people saved it. I'm like, no way, you just told them to? She's like, yeah. So I did it in my next post. Could not believe the difference. So in this post here, I've had 24 people save it. In the post where I told them to save it, it went over 300. I was like, are you kidding me? I don't know what it is, but when you tell people what to do, they oftentimes will do it. So, you know, it's just fascinating to me. So yeah, just tell people what to do more often. So,
Hey, I have a question. Oh, I'm sorry.
no, you're good.
I didn't know if you were done. Hi, I'm Juliet, and I look terrible, but I was working out how to get it in. And I was going to tell you, so I have two Instagrams myself. I do hair and lashes for a living, so I have my hair and lash business on one end,
Okay.
and everything you said is pretty much stuff that I've like heard. So I'm like totally agreeing with everything you said because it works. Um, and then talking about how you know you find your niches, your little hobbies and stuff. I love that you discussed that. I was going to ask you about when you showed us your Instagram, because I've always kind of trying to wonder, there's separate albums underneath.
Yeah.
Those albums I have yet to figure out how to make. I'm assuming it has to be a business account to do that, because I can do it with my business account but not with my personal.
So you're talking about like the little circles.
Right, because I know lots of folks will look at those stories and not just your like, what did you post today? Because what you posted today, you can add it to those stories if I'm not mistaken,
Yes.
which is a big deal because you can kind of leave that information still there for anybody new who didn't get to see it like the day before.
So
How do you go about doing that?
So I mean, on my page, and it might be that you have to have a business, you have to switch it to a business profile, because honestly, right here, in the button, hold on, let me share my screen again because we can see it on a bigger scale. If it's the same on your phone. I mean, I do so much on the phone. Okay, so over here, can you see my cursor too? Or is that just me? Okay. Sometimes I'm like, is it just me? Over here on my phone is a little button that says new. So that is how I would start a new one. So notice I have like all these ones about hair, but what's my first one? virtual gym. Oh yeah, I put that there on purpose. And that's all things from my, I don't know if I can click on it. It doesn't work on, oh, it does. Oh, here we go. So this is all results from virtual gym members, and some of them are team members. Some of them are my personal coaches and friends. So that's first. And I get a lot of messages from new people who check out my page right there. So yeah, you just click new. If I do that right here, and then what happens is when you click new, it lets you kind of choose from recent stories. And then when I click, if I click on a post, yeah, I think it has to be something that has been in your stories. That's the best way to save it to, yeah, to your highlights. That's what those are called. Did that help?
It did. It did. It's one of those things where, as much as I think I know something, there's always something else to learn. Just like reposting somebody else's, post, you have to have a different app for that. So that was really helpful because I'm always trying to figure that out. So.
And you can edit them and put like the cute little pictures, and I just made those in an app, and I don't know, there's all kinds of fancy things, but I try and keep it simple for the most part. And honestly, I'll tell you too, on my Instagram, I do not use a filter. I don't use any special color filters. I don't plan my grid at all. I just throw posts up as I'm coming up with them. That's how I roll. That's how it's fun to me. And if it's not fun to plan, people are like, don't you plan your posts? I'm like, oh no, I have no plan. And I used to filter them and make them all look pretty. And then I was like, that took too much work. So honestly, those things might seem like they're so important, and you might follow some Instagram people, but look at, like, I don't know, my page is growing. This week alone, I don't do follow on follow either. And my page organically, it's taken a long time to get here, okay? But it's been through consistency. I'm trying to find my analytics now and I can't find them. Just this week, I've gained 587 followers organically. Okay. And that's just by constantly connecting with people and sharing their things and them sharing my things. If you start to connect with people like that, they'll start to share your things too. It becomes kind of like a collaboration. And actually, I planned a collaboration with some other curly girl influencers where we're going to do workout curls. They're all girls that work out. Not all of them do Beachbody, but I'm like, this is a great way for us to collaborate, and I'll end up with some of their followers. They'll end up with some of my followers, and I'm totally okay with that. It's really an open hand policy for me, because I end up gaining some really great people that way once, you kind of figure out, yeah.
What's your average post? Are you posting once a day, or are you posting twice a day?
I never post twice a day. I only post, well, I do not post every day. Not on Instagram. It's wonderful. I story every day consistently. I will always be on stories, but honestly, I just post. I post as I feel like it. I don't know. That's the beauty of Instagram too. Like, you can post. I would not post more than once a day. With the Instagram algorithms, it can mess it all up. Once a day is totally sufficient, and that is beautiful. But it is good to be consistent. So when I did start, I was trying to at least do 4 posts a week. And now my page is consistent enough, and it's kind of rolling on its own that it's okay. I can kind of, oh, whoops, I need a post.
Thank you so much.
So there's a question about how many hashtags do you use? And Dennis was asking, how do you see, well, you answered that one already, but yeah, how many hashtags do you use? And
I tend to, I don't use that many hashtags, I'll be honest. I'm trying to figure out hashtags more specifically, but typically what I do is I will go look at another Instagrammer. So I'll probably find, let's say my friend Coffee Curly Girl. I'll go over to one of her posts. She has about 60,000 followers. She's, knows what she's doing over there. I will check out her hashtags, and I'll just snag some of those from my post as long as they're relevant to the post that I put up. And honestly, searching hashtags that, like, try and think outside the box with hashtags. You don't want to do the Beachbody hashtags. You don't even want to do the fitness hashtags unless they're like niche down a little bit. You want to pick some that are in the thousands, some that are in the 10,000s, and maybe a few that are bigger. But honestly, staying in that 10K range for how many hashtags are out there is really good, because enough people are searching them, but not so many that it's going to get lost. Your post is going to get lost. So yeah, I would try and that's what you really need to think about. Like, who are you trying to target? Who is your person? And for me, it's moms with curly hair. I mean, really, that's hot mess mama, curly hair tips, mom life, curly mom, curl friends. I check out those hashtags first. When I see other people use them, I'll go check them out. Oh, yep, those are my type of people, and I'll use them. So
I hate to ask a third question.
go for it. I don't mind.
I have a friend who, he's a barber, and he was telling me about his Instagram, and I want to get your opinion on it, that he will make his post and he will make his full, description at the bottom, post it with a hashtag, and underneath his post in the comments, he does his hashtags. He says it goes directly to what you want to say, want to do and achieve, but the hashtags still bring the flow in. How do you do that? Do you?
I don't, because I'm lazy. And I honestly haven't found it made a huge difference in my engagement and how my post did, but I've seen a lot of other people who are successful doing that. So I don't think there's anything wrong with doing it. I think it can totally be beneficial. I know Shalene Johnson has been doing it more recently. So if Shalene's doing it, got to keep up with her. So maybe I should be doing it. I am lazy when it comes to having to go an extra step and put it in the comments. It's terrible, but it's the truth. Yes, Kim.
Yeah, sharing. When I'm on Instagram and I want to share something, I could see how I can send it to another individual, but
Yes.
Is there some other kind of sharing that you're referring to?
So if you click on someone else's post, you should, and I'm not sure why sometimes. I think you have to turn your Instagram into a business page, because
I
when
have this page.
you do have a business page. Okay. So let's see, for example, all right, here, I'm going to click on the little arrow, and at the top, add post to your story. So what I would do is I would click that, it would copy it to my story, and then I would tag her. If you can't share it, you can just, take a screenshot and tag her too. Do you know what I mean? Because then at least you're saying, oh my goodness, I loved this post. Make sure you tag them. If you just share their story, they will not see it. I don't know why. They'll see that someone has shared it, but they won't see who. Always tag people. And a lot of times people will reshare your stuff, and you can gain some new followers that way, and it'll be an encouragement to them, and maybe you'll connect and make a new friend with them as well.
So thank you. That helps me. And I do see that where you just share it to your story then.
Yeah.
Do you do any kind of tracking for new ads? I mean, new connections that you've added?
I do not. Honestly, I don't. I try and keep track of the people who are watching my stories. So if you do have a business page, you can go to your analytics, and so if you click on your story, down at the bottom where it shows the little people's faces there, you can click on that and it'll show you the whole. Can you see that? Oh, it's like glaring. Yeah, this is like terrible.
Looked at it, yeah.
You can see all the people. So I try and keep track of that and see if there's new people consistently watching my stories. I'm just gonna be honest, I don't track many things. It's terrible. I could probably have gotten so much farther, but it's like I said, if it's not fun, I'm done. And tracking to me, I will say I track connects, and I track people who reach out, people I reach out to. I track all of that. But yeah, no, I don't track any of that stuff. I mean, it's great if you do, and if you love tracking, go for it. Get that Google spreadsheet out, but I just don't.
Thank you.
You are so welcome. Anybody else having questions? Love it.
Okay, so Cody just came over, and this is one of the things that we were talking about. Merida, right, from Disney. Surely that comes. Surely you've been Merida for Halloween.
Surely I have. Yes, I totally have. It's somewhere on my Instagram page.
You know, sorry, I just feel like I relate with this conversation so much. When I made my second Instagram, I knew I was eventually going to use this Instagram as a personal / weight loss journey. And this was even before I talked to Chris. This was something that I had in my mind, and I didn't put any effort into it for a while. Talking about the things that we choose outside of just fitness. When I came up with my name, it's This Is the Way, Juliet. And the reason I said This Is the Way is if you watch The Mandalorian, they say that. And I'm very much a Star Wars and Disney person, but at the same time, I related it to this is the way. You want to live happier, you need to find a way of doing it, you know? When it comes to your Instagram name, so people that don't have one, how do you suggest they go about making their Instagram name? Because it's going to be something that maybe could be permanent.
I think, if you can keep it simple, I mean, that's very helpful. If you can keep it simple. I know some people say, use your regular name, and that's totally fine. But something like Curly Fit Mom was so simple. I know personally, if you think about it, whenever I'm trying to find somebody who was like searching me and they have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 29 Galaxy P90, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, I'm never gonna find them again. I forgot to write down their whole handle, and those. So the simpler it is, the easier it is for people to remember you and to search you and find you. So I would say, yeah, just keep it simple. Whatever's available, that's easy peasy.
Does anybody have anything else? I think there was so much great information there that I like the, let me pull up my notes here. It's, and a lot of it is, it's one of those things that it's kind of the same thing that you hear, but even for me, it's good to be like, okay, right. 3 things. Don't go into the fitness industry, and you have people, like every new coach, right, is the first thing that they do is they take a picture of here's my Shakeology, and hashtag Shakeology, hashtag Beachbody, yada, yada, yada. But I mean, every coach does that. So it's good to be reminded, like everybody did that in the beginning. So Zita was asking, do you run groups in bod? So we were talking about that before the call started, so I'll just let you say that.
I do. I have an ongoing group in bod because on Instagram, a lot of people are not on Facebook. That seems to be a new generational thing where people a little bit younger than me are like, oh no, I don't have Facebook. And I'm like, oh, okay. They don't know how old I am. So I just run with it. I'm like, okay, no problem. I have a group just for people who aren't on Facebook. It's perfect. And I put them in a bod group. Yeah, I do have a bod group. I have a Facebook group too, because I guess I'm old. My son says that old people are on Facebook. So if we're on Facebook, we're all old.
That's funny. My kids say that too. My oldest is on Facebook, but his profile picture's 7 years old. He was like 12. He's 19 now. It's still that. So I could still tag him, but he hadn't been on it since he was 12.
I love it.
All right. Well, Lauren said this was her first call. She was excited to hear from you. I want to thank you very much for being on the call. I love your energy. I love the just light-hearted and I feel like we need to hang out at Summit because I'm sure you're a blast to hang out with.
Oh yeah.
So thank you very much, and I look forward to chatting with your folks on the 13th.
Yeah.
And thanks everybody for being on the call. I know there are a lot of people going to be catching the recording. So thanks everyone, and we will see you next time.
All right. Thank you so much. Bye guys.